Good evening, you're welcome. This evening we have stories of creative people and Irish successes from the world of traditional Irish fashion. For over 100 years now, the Kennedy family have been in business in Ardara in County Donegal. Set up by a returned emigrant who ran saloons in the Wild West, Kennedy's certainly has a colourful history.
For 48 years, Phil Ward has been calling to traditional Aran hand knitters in Donegal, bringing them wool and collecting finished garments for sale through Kennedy of Ardara, and he has loved every minute of it.
How you doing today, Nora? Did you get your jumper done?
I did.
Oh, that's good. I brought you another one.
Okay.
So,
And there's one in the house.
that's good, that's good.
Nora Hanlon started knitting as a girl, the skill handed down to her by her mother.
The housewife would be there, and she might have 2 or 3 daughters that had left school. There was no other much work them years, and they were knitting as well because they could knit, because they saw their mothers at it from they were that size there. They were real geniuses, that's what they were.
It was a very good income at the time because, like lots of homes, the children were growing up and there wasn't much work, so they took up the knitting, and it was always a few pound at that time.
But you're still knitting away, you must love it.
Well, it's good pastime. Like, I read a bit and then I knit a bit and go to the bingo on Monday night and forget about the knitting for that night.
For many years, Nora's jumpers and those of hundreds of other knitters have been sold by the Kennedys in Ardara, a family in business now for 110 years. But it all began with the most unlikely character, a saloon keeper from the Wild West.
Well, it started way back in the 1890s
Yeah.
with my great-grandfather, Con Kennedy, the same name as myself, and my father. And we have a photo of him here in the 1890s outside his saloon in Winslow, Arizona. He lived over there for 20 years after himself and his 4 brothers emigrated from Ardara. He came back on a holiday and he met my great-grandmother, Etta. She was a seamstress and milliner, so they made a perfect combination because he had also drapery experience. So he ended up staying, even though he'd only come home on a holiday, and he sent for his goods to come from Winslow, Arizona. So a few months later, they arrived in this trunk. That's 1898, so I think that's 115 years. We still have all these years later here in the shop.
Con would pass the business on to his son Mick, who exported hand knits to major stores like Macy's and Bloomingdale's in New York, and in 1963 he won the prestigious Exporter of the Year award. A few years later, his son Connell would take over the reins he still holds today.
I started working with my mother and father at the age of maybe 7 to 8, and I think just textiles and wool is really in my blood, and design I got from my mother.
And one of Connell's most successful designs is one he came up with 21 years ago.
I was a pretty keen golfer at the time, but unfortunately my shoulders are not the best now and I don't play much golf anymore. So I wanted a sweater that was durable in the wind, the slight rain shower, and that would keep its shape. So I designed this garment specifically for that job. The wind won't go through it. It keeps its shape for its lifetime. It's double knit in the cuffs and also double knitted in the basque. This is probably our best selling garment at the present moment, worldwide. We do matching socks then as well in vibrant Donegal colours, the colours of the fields of Donegal, the mountains of Donegal. The wildness of Donegal is in there in that wool.
Yes, that's right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that should fit your husband all right. And you said he had blue eyes, so it'll be just perfect for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In its long history, Kennedy of Ardara moved with the times. Alongside hand knits are less expensive hand-loomed jumpers and garments made in softer merino wool.
We still produce the genuine article, and again we've moved with the times in producing more stylish and fashionable knitwear, which is not just of interest to people who come into our retail shop, but also to buyers on their computers and laptops all over the world.
The online shop was set up by Connell Jr. for his mother Maria and has her busier than ever.
Very first order we got an hour later, like we're
It was from Sweden. Immediately, like within an hour, and we were just so excited by that, really. So we've got orders now since from USA and all over Europe.
Quality does sell and always will sell.
You've obviously stood the test of time, 110-year history.
I'm way back when my grandmother came back from the States, through my grandmother and my parents and myself, and hopefully maybe the fourth generation will come into the company, and I have great optimism for our markets in the future.